Keep your hats on, because what you are about to hear has the potential to become the most important financial disclosure in the history of Bitcoin. Hold on to your hats. XRP has lately been subjected to what we believe to be the single most potent trigger that has ever had an effect on the cryptocurrency. It is an internal memo from a significant Wall Street institution that has been leaked, and it states that the price aim for XRP following its initial public offering is an amazing $10,000 per coin. Neither speculation nor hype on social media can be said to be present here. This leak, which includes an outline of a full-blown institutional thesis on why Ripple's upcoming initial public offering IPO could result in a complete revaluation of the XRP asset itself, is alleged to have been the source of the information. The senior analyst at Goldman Sachs is said to have been the source of this leak according to reports. Furthermore, if this message is even marginally right, we are not talking about a conventional bull run, rather, we are talking about an event that will bring riches to numerous generations. This is the case even if this message is only half accurate. As a result of this leak, the market will be pushed to reconcile Ripple's valuation with its massive holdings of XRP once Ripple formally files its paperwork for its first public offering with the SEC. This is an event that insiders expect will occur in the near future. Ripple is currently the owner of more than 40 billion XRP. And the fact that the company is organically exposed to that asset is implied by the fact that each and every share of Ripple stock is owned by the individual. Right out of the gate, we are looking at a company that is worth hundreds of billions of dollars and potentially even $1 trillion if the initial public offering IPO valuation of Ripple is even halfway close to what the analysts have estimated it will be. The market has no other choice but to reprice XRP at a substantially higher level in order to justify that kind of valuation, and this is the only alternative accessible to customers. This is not a matter of exaggeration, rather, it is a problem of fundamental scientific principles. XRP, the fundamental asset that underlies Ripple's business model, has been severely undervalued by the market, and a high Ripple valuation naturally signals that the market has behaved in this manner. Despite the fact that it appears to be straightforward, the logic is explosive. Ripple's initial public offering IPO, which functions as a mirror, sends a reflection of the true value of XRP back into the market. In the event that Ripple's market capitalization starts to increase, institutional investors will start to ask the question that is becoming more and more obvious. In the event that Ripple has reached that level of value, it is puzzling that XRP is still selling at a price that is lower than $1. Just by itself, this query has the potential to spark off one of the most massive waves of fear of missing out FOMO in the whole history of the financial industry. Additionally, this is mapped out in the letter that was issued, which anticipates a revaluation cycle in which institutional capital rushes into XRP, forcing prices upward at an exponential pace. This is another example of how this process works. A recursive valuation feedback loop is the term that the analysts use to describe this type of model. It follows that the price of XRP will increase in tandem with the valuation of Ripple's initial public offering, IPO, and vice versa. This will result in a cycle of appreciation that will reinforce itself, so establishing a positive feedback loop. Even so, that is not the conclusion of the matter. An initial public offering, IPO, will be a bomb that will destroy some of your credibility. Over the course of more than a decade, Ripple and XRP have been engaged in a battle against regulatory uncertainty, mistrust from traditional finance, and an endless supply of false information from the cryptocurrency community. Each and every one of these transformations takes place the moment that Ripple rings the opening bell on Wall Street. Ripple's position as a publicly traded and fully regulated industry giant in the field of financial technology will be strengthened by the company's first public offering. The repercussions of that stamp of legitimacy will be felt throughout the entirety of the global financial system, and this is not a pun in any way. Hedge funds, pension funds, and sovereign wealth funds, who have been studying the situation from a distance up until this point, will eventually be granted permission to get exposure, according to the information that has been disclosed. As an additional point of interest, the leak indicates that these organizations will not be purchasing Ripple shares on their own. Therefore, the real play, as indicated in the document, is direct exposure to XRP, which is the asset that is truly powering Ripple's network of worldwide payment solutions. XRP is the asset that is involved in the transaction. As soon as that wave of institutionalization starts to roll, the floodgates of liquidity they will just flood open. This will become apparent almost immediately. To put it another way, just try to create a mental image of what would occur if every major fund in the world took the decision to invest even half of its portfolio in XRP. Over the course of a single day, the demand would entirely surpass the supply that was available. While this is happening, retail investors, fintech companies, and yes, even central banks that are looking at the possibilities of integrating CBDC across international borders would all rush in to participate. In the document, this phenomena is referred to as the domino effect, which is a chain reaction of widespread acceptance and the influx of capital that has the ability to turn XRP from a speculative token into a worldwide reserve bridging asset. Another name for this phenomenon is the domino effect. It is also likely that this transformation will take place much more swiftly than anyone anticipated, given that Ripple's initial public offering will serve as the catalyst for this change. Additionally, the leak discloses that Ripple has significantly pushed back its internal deadline for filing its S-1 registration to the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. This information was not disclosed previously. They're saying that the paperwork might fall at any time, almost any day now, and when it happens, the countdown will start. There are people who are close to the matter who are saying this. By now, you are aware that Ripple's financials, including its partnerships with XRP Holdings and revenue from cross-border payment solutions, are going to be disclosed to the entire world through the S-1 filing. It has the ability to send shockwaves throughout the cryptocurrency community, as well as Wall Street due to the high amount of transparency that it possesses. When it comes to determining how much to price Ripple's potential for future growth, there will be a lot of rivalry among experts and investors. After the general public has gained an understanding of the extent to which the success of Ripple is inextricably tied to the usability of XRP, the reevaluation will take place. There is no way to escape the outcome of this situation. It is important to keep in mind that this is not only about Ripple, the company, it is also about the ecosystem that it has built up over the course of the previous 10 years. The cryptocurrency known as XRP has been stealthily positioned by Ripple to become the core of the next generation of financial infrastructure. Through a variety of channels, such as pilot initiatives with central banks and large institutional ties with banks in Asia, the Middle East, and Europe, this objective has been successfully realized. Is it not something that brings a lot of force to the table? To put it another way, the initial public offering, IPO, is the catalyst that brings all of that into the spotlight of the mainstream. It is also indicated in the leak that a number of institutional desks have already begun building together Ripple exposure baskets in preparation for the initial public offering, IPO. This is in preparation for the upcoming financial transaction. A combination of XRP tokens and Ripple equity is contained inside these baskets. When this knowledge is made available to the broader public, the dominoes will start to fall one after the other. Put yourself in the shoes of the financial media and try to imagine what will happen once they start covering this subject. Ripple's initial public offering, IPO, and the mystery asset that is behind it that is surpassing all else are the subject of segments that are being televised on CNBC, Bloomberg, and Reuters. These parts are being broadcast currently. The number of retail investors is going to be overwhelming. There will be a surge in the use of social media. During the course of the night, the topic of DES